Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Leonard, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hey, welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. We are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lance Leonard. We have the main man here, co-host Jimmy Lackey, CEO of Kids Inc. You know the drill. And of course, let's get Josh in here right away. Josh, you're the third ever double dipper on the Fieldhouse Podcast. You've been on it once before, and we know you are in the middle of fall drills or getting them going, so we can't thank you enough for the time that you're allowing us today.
Well, I mean, I thank you for having me, and I think, obviously it's a busy time for us. However, it is time to get excited about football. So it's, we're really excited about Buffalo football, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But, I'm fired up to be here. It's football season, baby.
Yeah. Jimmy, what's the best thing that happened to you today?
I just told y'all I always enjoy getting a chance to visit with Dick Jones. Dick's the AD over at Holy Cross
know him
now,
well.
But legendary baseball coach at Emerald High, and visiting about some baseball and football stuff over at Holy Cross with him this morning. Always a good time to chat with him. So between that and having Coach on the show,
no.
good stuff.
Josh, it's a tradition for us. What's the best thing that happened to you today?
Oh, today?
Today.
Okay, so
it's a little early, but
man,
still.
no, it's got to be, man. We had an offensive line meeting this morning at 8:30 in the morning. Get to go in and see 24 big old massive human beings. Get to love on them a little bit, and just a great room, right? There's not a better room than an offensive line room, especially in the morning after breakfast, after they've eaten. A little grumpy before.
What? Take us in real quick. What is an O-line when they're all together? Are they chatting it? Are they sitting?
Oh my gosh! You better have thick skin. I tell you that, because it's you walk in there. There's probably nothing related football wise when in the first, obviously when we get going with business, or football, they'll address that. But you go in there the first part of that meeting, and it's they're clowning on each other pretty good, and so you better have thick skin. Another thing about offensive linemen, it's the best room ever, man, because they'll talk about anything.
And nothing's off limits.
No, it's not. Goodness gracious, and it's there's not much ego in there, and it's just
that's the best part.
They're all just kind of happy, and it's unbelievable, really. If you have a good one, there's of course there's bad apples and everything, but I haven't experienced it too much. You know what I'm saying? But it's they'll talk about anything. Most time it's what's for lunch, but the next thing is another thing too. They're good about it. They'll all be doing stuff together. Whether it's playing on their phones or what I like. Hey, there's another thing too. What I like about offensive linemen. A lot of rooms you walk in anymore. In a position room or whatever, kids will be on their phones and they won't be talking to each other. That's not the offensive line meeting room. It's kind of old school a little bit, right? Where you walk in, you have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Those big boys still get in there and talk to each other and clown on each other and have fun. And it's kind of a breath of fresh air a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of an insight of football. That O-line is always like
the
most unique group.
Yeah.
Jimmy knows this story. When I covered the Buffs, Josh, in the mid '80s, they had a really good team, but their room stunk to high heaven.
Yeah, I get that.
I was just fixing to say that. Let's just be honest. That's rank.
It is rank. It was rank in there, but here's the deal. Like, as a reporter, it took me a couple years, but finally I got invited in to interview him in the room.
Oh, you got in the room, right?
So that was like a big deal for those guys to allow you into their room, because usually they'd step out and talk to them. So that was my badge of honor. But I did it once. I could not handle
I'm telling you, when I said there's no rules, there are no rules when you go in there with those big boys.
There's no rules. Absolutely not.
Everything's on the table.
Sure.
I love that. Hey, everybody knows Josh, but real quick, he played his high school ball at Eunice, New Mexico, a two-time all-conference player at Eastern New Mexico. Then he started his career as a grad student. So Josh has come up through the ranks. This is why I love this guy.
Hey, can I stop you guys real quick?
Yeah.
Eastern New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Art Bryce.
Let's do it.
You want to, Jimmy? I'm sorry, I'm probably getting you guys off script, but
no.
Let's talk this conversation with Coach Mims last week because he played there.
That's right. Yeah.
Coach
I'm
Mims
sorry. I might be
No,
ruining the script here.
No.
Just
real quick.
I'm just kind of curious to see what
You've
you guys
had a
think.
chance to be around him a little bit now. So what's your perception of the whole?
Well, first and foremost, you get around him. He's a ball coach, right? I mean, you walk in and it kind of broke the mold a little bit when it comes to football coaches, right? Maybe on all the high school and college.
Yeah.
And he's an incredible guy, and he's really easy to talk to. Another thing, too, I just want to throw this out there. We're not going to sleep on Eastern New Mexico. I mean, he's coming in and, I really don't know in Division II. I don't know. Going off his track record and anywhere he's been, he's going to roll out there with some good players and really well coached, and they're going to be really well coached. So I think, me personally, just getting to know him over the summertime and the little time that I've got to work with him with the football coaches of the Lone Star Conference, I've been obviously really impressed, and just he's kind of a guy you gravitate to, right? If you're in the football world, is that fair?
Yeah,
I mean, it's it's kind of like a Mike Leach a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's kind of got a different approach on stuff, and he's very easy to talk to, and that's probably a mark of a good leader and a good a good motivator too.
So tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
here,
okay.
This is kind of what I see when I think about Coach Briles being at Eastern.
Okay.
I see a kid out there that maybe got passed over. He's got a big chip on his shoulder, and Coach Briles gave him a call, and he's going to come in and show you what he can do. And I'm wondering times how many of those, because it is Coach Briles, and let's just be honest, he's got name recognition, and he's had success everywhere he's been. How many of those type kids is he actually going to end up with that had those chips on their shoulders that got overlooked, and they're going to come in and go, look what I can do?
Sure.
That scares me being a Buff fan.
Hey, another thing, too, I'm going to kind of add on to that, Jimmy. Doesn't Art Briles have a chip on his shoulder maybe?
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So you bring a leader in with the same mission as maybe some of the young men that he recruits, and they're all moving in the same direction, in the same mission. It's that's when teams get really good and they get really confident and they work extremely hard, and so you better watch out for that.
Yeah.
And when you listen to him talk, just a little tidbits. He knows what wins, speed. Players
Sure.
win games.
Yep.
So he has a philosophy of what he has to bring into Eastern New Mexico. But
sure.
I will say this. I don't know if you know this, Josh. So I had him on my radio show, and he said, so he's sitting in the stands, Josh, watching his son, obviously, coach, and then his son-in-law is a head coach as well, in the college level. And he turned to his wife and said, I want to be down there. I'm sick of being up in the stands.
Right.
So simply being on the sideline watching him coach was maybe the push where he's going to try to get in.
No doubt.
We know
Absolutely.
his background.
Yep.
We don't need to go into that. You know what I mean? But I applaud Eastern New Mexico for giving Coach Briles a chance. I think it's good for the Lone Star Conference and Division II football.
Sure. Well, another thing I think you can piggyback it even more. I mean, it's good for the state of Texas, right? I mean, he's Mr. He's in a lot of ways he's a big example, role model in the state of Texas when it comes to college coaching and obviously high school football coaching. And so obviously it's good for the Lone Star Conference. And me being a alumnus of Greyhound football, I mean it's I'll say this, I think it's a good move by Eastern, and obviously. Hope it doesn't go very well, but it's, you know what I'm saying. So,
at least when he plays our team,
sure, and I just
I will say this: he did have Cody Campbell a conversation with him the first week. So whatever that's deep pockets.
There ain't no doubt.
I don't know if this is going to be
sure, right?
Tech South there, but
right.
yeah. I've told this story way too many times, but Art Briles, the first time I ever saw him coach Hamlin Pied Pipers versus the Panhandle Panthers, in a regional state playoff.
Who was the first team again?
He coached.
I know Panhandle. Who was the other one?
Hamlin.
Oh, Hamlin. Okay, I got you.
And he was the first-year coach there. Panhandle. It's tied 7-7. Josh. Panhandle kicks off to punts to Panhandle to end the third quarter. Panhandle holds the ball the entire fourth quarter, all
right.
12 minutes, and they had 20-yard penetrations as the tiebreaker. You didn't have to score. Crossed to 20. And they won the game on penetrations.
I'll be dang. So that's how they used to break a tie, huh?
Yeah. By 20-yard penetrations, then first downs.
I'll be dang.
But that's how they won it. And Art Briles, that changed, believe it or not, his whole philosophy of I'll never get in a grinded-out game again.
Sure. Well, tell them about when you called.
Oh, yeah. 20 years later, he's the head coach at Houston, okay? And this is my favorite game. Chris Ketting played on the Panhandle Panthers. There's a lot of tradition in that game, you know what I mean? But anyway, Stocky Lamberson was the coach, the legend high school coach around here. But so the 20-year anniversary, I'm looking for columns, when I was a daily columnist at the Globe News, and I said, "Oh man, this is the week." And so I call him on Wednesday, and you know how it is with Division I, media's shut off. The secretary said, "Look, media's done for the week." I said, "Hey, put on his desk Hamlin versus Panhandle, 1984. She puts it on. 5 minutes later, he calls back.
You get a phone call.
I was young and dumb. I love talking about this game. You know what I mean? So that's my claim. But he got a hold of Cale Steed at a Lone Star Conference this week or this year. You know, your Lone Star Conference Media Day, and there was a Nick Eatman. You know, he does stuff for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he does some Lone Star Conference stuff. But he goes, Cale, tell Ketting and Lawner, or he calls me Lance, you know, Ketting and Lance, tell Eatman that story. You know what I mean? You know, and he goes, you know it better than I do. And he goes, go ahead. And Cale said like 3 words in, and then Bryles takes over.
He takes over on it.
He just took it over. But I think it's good. I think you guys nailed it with the motivation, but I think you nailed it. I think he also has the chip on his shoulder without letting it out.
You know, and I'll say this, you know, obviously I was the head coach there, right?
Yeah.
And usually when Eastern's really good is when they have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, and that's, you know, us against the world type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
here's a little bit of another parallel that I kind of throw in this mix too. I had a good friend that left coaching. Dad needed help at the farm, and spent about 10 years on a tractor. And I tried to get 2 different presidents at university at WT to get him back on the football field, and they just thought he'd been off the field too long. Different set of circumstances, but they finally wised up and brought him back to WT, and he did pretty well. And he also is an Eastern graduate, and he also was a head football coach at
That's
Eastern.
right.
So it's happened before at Eastern, and it doesn't mean it can't happen again. Don Carthel.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
You know, but Donnie was on a tractor for 10 years. And he did okay coming back into the fold.
Ain't no doubt.
You better watch out.
I think Coach Carthel, too, maybe had a little chip on his shoulder when he returned to West Texas A&M.
I'll tell you a quick story and we move on.
Sorry to get you guys off topic, man. This is awesome.
We're all good. We're all good.
Donnie was sitting in my office. He'd just been hired at WT probably a month and a half earlier. It was after spring ball when all that happened. And he got the job, and we're sitting in my office. It's in June. I can remember this plain as day. It's in June. And we've gone 5-27 the last 3 years. And I said, all right, can we go 500 this first year? And he looks me square in the eye and he says, we're going to win the conference. And if I'm lying, I'm down. I lean back in my chair. I said, it's just Jimmy and Donnie in the room. How are you going to do that? And he said, we'll outwork every coaching staff
there you go.
Over the summer. True story. December rolls around. I'm piddling around the house. It's Christmas break. Kim said, hey, Donnie called. You need to call him back. Okay. I forgot. Just flat forgot to call him back.
Okay.
He calls me the next morning. Did you get my message? Oh, shoot, Coach, I'm sorry. Because I'm a stickler about returning phone calls.
Sure.
I'm sorry. What's up? He goes, I need your ring size. My ring size? For what? And he goes, we're ordering rings today because they'd won the LSC championship.
Right.
I said, well, I'm not getting a ring. He goes, you can either get one that doesn't fit or you can get your butt over here to the AC and get your ring size. I've got about 6 rings in there in my safe during the Don Carthel years because every year they won something. I got a ring.
You got a ring?
That's
Absolutely.
cool.
Sure.
And so the last part of that story is that first ring down where the players' numbers were, mine said #1 fan. So when next year rolled around, I said, Coach, can I at least just put my graduation year down there? I don't want to be #1 fan anymore. So the rest of my rings have 85 on them.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's got an amazing memory. You know what I mean? So
sure.
And on the other side of that, so I'm writing for the Globe News, Josh. He takes over. He's at Eastern. Bill Kelly's at WT, and they do not get along. You know, I mean, not many people got along with Bill. Bill was just like great coach. Amazing coach, but his ability to get along with like opposing coaches just wasn't his cup of tea. But
did Bill get along with anybody? And Bill was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He didn't get along with our university president. He just did his own thing.
He did. Like they went to Tulsa. The AD told him one time, like, hey, the nickel and dime stuff, handle yourself. But anything a substantial purchase, I need to know about it previously. They going over to Tulsa, and it's turf over there, and they haven't played on turf and won't again all year. He goes and buys brand new turf shoes for every player, and doesn't tell the AD. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that was that. Like he gets that bill, and he's like, "But that was Bill." But and I feel bad about this, and this wasn't meant as a slap. But I'm writing a column, and Eastern was undefeated going into the WT game. And I go, yeah, but they have played a Kids Inc. schedule and listed the
no
teams.
No offense,
Jimmy. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And listed the teams. And Carthel was furious with me. You know, he goes, Lance, we're just trying to build a program. You know, give me a break. You know, because I said, yeah, they've had this moment in the sun, but they're not going to make the playoffs. And they didn't, but I mean, I do regret that, but he never forgot that. He'll remind me of Kids Inc. schedule, huh? You know, who won the conference?
Right.
You know, so yeah. Hey, real quick, Josh is coming off. Everybody out there, they got the mojo back last year. They got some juice. And Jimmy and I were wondering, Josh, they go 8-4, 7-2 in the LSC. And then I liked your comment. I listened to all your comments early this at the Lone Star, like being picked third. Of all times in this, nobody knows a full team when that's when that selection.
Especially
I like what you said.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We don't want to be third anyway. You know what I mean? So I really did appreciate that. But I was going to ask you, is momentum real in this day and age? Because there's such a turnover in rosters.
Sure. From
the previous year to the next year.
I think momentum is even bigger now. I mean, if with the way kids are transferring, do they want to go to a school that doesn't have anything moving forward? I mean, you know, recruiting, selling, right? And obviously, even with the transfer market and the portal, you still got to be able to sell. And obviously, young men who jump in the portal have probably had a bad experience, or a lot of them have had a bad experience with maybe wins and losses. And so, I mean, you look at young men want to go and obviously be taken care of financially and all that, but at the same token, if everything's equal, they want to go to a program that has resources and then are streaming forward, you know. And I think momentum now, even more so than even back in the day, or 5 years ago, I think it's just as important or as equally important, you know. Another thing too, I think a lot of good teams, especially in Division II world, they're probably going to be rebuilding every year, and so, you know, you're not bringing in you're not bringing back the fourth-year junior offensive tackle that was all conference last year. You know, and I know nobody will like it, but the good teams in Division II are probably going to get their top 8 or their top to 5, 10 best players taken. So you're probably rebuilding every year. So sorry, I kind of jumped around that, but hey, momentum's bigger now than it ever has been.
Yeah,
so.
I was just curious on that. So, hey, by the way, we got a little business to take over. This is our podcast number 84. We have a tradition here as well. We talk about our favorite 84s, whether it was a teammate, somebody we enjoy watching on TV, whatever. Josh, you want to lead us off with 84?
So, hey, I thought about this one. Of course, 84 is a tough number, right? I mean, I don't necessarily know a lot of 84s. Here's one for you. I don't know if you guys remember him. His name's Hank Baskett.
Oh, yes.
Hank Baskett, Clovis, New Mexico. Played at UNM.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe he was on the podcast with Kendra.
Yes.
For the ladies out there. Yeah, me and my wife watched it.
Yeah.
But I guess what the sad thing about Hank, he's an incredible. He probably might be. He's got to be top in the state of New Mexico. He's got to be top 5 players of all time to come out of there.
Wow.
And so, of course, he floated around NFL rosters. But the sad thing about Hank, he wore number 84 for the Eagles, and he's the one that dropped the onside kick against was it the Patriots maybe?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, that was my 84 today.
No,
that's the only one I could think of. You know what I'm saying?
I
don't know if it's my favorite 84, but it's the most significant and the one I remember.
Clovis played Emerald High at that time, year and year, and so I got a chance to watch him play. You know, he's a good basketball player as well.
He's an incredible basketball player.
Yeah, that's a great one, man.
So it's kind of different. So.
He was a stud.
Yep.
He was a stud.
I got 2.
Okay.
I got a vintage
and
a more modern.
I like it.
And my more modern, and we've talked about this, and it's just the transformation in his personality that really endeared me to him, is Randy Moss.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, goodness gracious.
I mean,
that's a great one.
He went from, that ego guy to probably one of the most humble people, great sportscaster, but incredible athlete. Go across the middle without any fear. Probably as good as anybody at that position, maybe short of Jerry Rice in my book. But my vintage, and I have to do this because my dad played across the line from him in high school, is Raymond Berry.
Ooh.
Raymond Berry's dad was the head football coach at Paris, Texas. My dad went to Gainesville, and he and Raymond Jr. played against each other in high school. And then, of course, Raymond Berry wore 84 for the Colts back in the day. So
with Johnny Unitas.
So he would be my vintage pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I always bring up Broncos. So Shannon Sharp, obviously, 84 was a great one. However, when you're a kid growing up, your older brother can do no wrong, and so my older brother wasn't the superstar on the Air Academy cadets, but he did wear 84.
There we go.
And I was all of 110 pounds, Josh, wrestling 98 pounds, as a sophomore. So obviously you can know my football career wasn't all that, but that was my favorite 84 always.
Well, 100%.
I mean?
That's a great one.
Yeah. So, hey, if you don't mind, you want to start us off?
No, well, I want to ask you this: how many kids on the core roster from last year do you have back this year?
That's a great question.
It's a D2 question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Core kids, you're probably, and I don't know specifically. I'll give you a range here though. Probably core kids 65 to 75.
Well, that's pretty good.
No, it's incredible, really. I mean, you look at other D2 rosters. We feel pretty good about that.
So my follow-up question.
You obviously want to retain a little better, but I think with the world we're in,
Division 2, that's hard.
Right.
So my follow-up question to that would be this: facilities, school, atmosphere, those things kick in for some of those kids?
100%. Hey, another part of that is that we're doing a good job in the classroom.
The culture.
The retention piece in college athletics, a lot of time is what they're doing in the classroom, holding on to players because they're good in the classroom, they're moving forward. It goes back to the momentum piece, though, too, right? I mean, we had a couple guys jump in the portal, didn't necessarily get the jump up that they wanted to. Well, they're not looking at any other D2s. They're wanting to stay with us. Yeah. And so that's big.
Sure it is.
And so, but it doesn't hurt, Jimmy, to have the resources that we have at West Texas A&M, both, obviously the football resources, but also academic. And it's just a great place to live. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, fan base, they endear themselves 100%, to the players.
Yeah. There's not a better place than Bain Schaefer Stadium, man.
Yeah.
Josh, tell everybody out there, though, when that happens, when you have that nucleus back, what advantages is that are you going to benefit from, in your opinion?
Well, when you do bring the new players in, there's a culture already set there. There's an expectation that those guys jump into, and that's a lot better for a transfer to come in and jump into that piece instead of having to establish it with new guys.
Yeah, I love that.
And so that's the biggest piece.
That's
of
huge.
It.
Yeah. When you guys, and I know you like to say it, you bring in culture guys. Tell us, in your opinion, what is a culture guy?
Well, I think it's
not one.
Yeah, it's.
But when you get you just know it, right?
Well, first of all, you always got to look, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna back it up with something. But you obviously got to look at the athlete first. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't say that. You should look at the person, but that athleticism piece is a big piece of it if you want to win football games.
Yep,
okay,
fair enough.
Now when you look at this, when you look at kids you bring in, you got to look at what kind of person they are and if they're going to buy into what you're doing. Okay, so I think humility is a big piece. You bring a young man in who talks all the time. Maybe that's not the right guy. In this day and age, I think a kid that maybe is more of a blue collar kid and does have the chip on his shoulder is a big thing when you look at our culture piece. And then a young man I like a young man who communicates, who doesn't just sit there and like a bump on a log when you visit with him, and he's engaged, he's everything that you want in regards to communicating with you through the times you do get to communicate with him. So I think communication, and then a humble kid too doesn't hurt things. And so you look at all those factors. There's a lot of different factors, but those are the kind of kids we look at.
I appreciate that insight. Yeah. Jimmy?
I'm looking at schedule. You got a tough road schedule.
Right off the bat.
And in the conference, too.
We came in, or when I came in, I looked at first of all, these games have been set up a long time, even before I've been here. And the way I look at it, Jimmy, is, I was in the MIAA for 5 years with starting out not a very good football team with the Lopers of UNK. Okay. And for people that don't understand, the MIAA is the Division II conference right in the middle of the United States. It's a Midwest conference. And in that conference, when we played in there, obviously you had 12 teams in that conference that played football, so it was a close schedule. Now, what I'm going to say about that is you look at the 10 of those teams are there's a good chance that they are nationally ranked at some point in their stint over the last 2 years.
Yep.
And so the approach you got to take on that is when you look at West Texas and the schedule that we have, you got to go in, and those games are going to make us better for the Lone Star Conference. Another thing, too, if you want to play good and you want to go deep in the playoffs, you're going to have to play those teams eventually. Mm-hmm. So another thing what it does, it puts a little sense of urgency on what you do as a football program in the recruiting piece to make sure that you have the athletes to match up with those teams. And the second is, make sure that there's a little fire underneath you to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to as coaches on the football field to put your kids in the best position to play those teams. And so it's a tough schedule, but we're not the only team playing tough schedules. I mean, you look at Angelo State. Their first 2 non-conference games, they're going in there and playing Fort Hays. They're going in there and playing Fort Hays, which is an MIAA team in Emporia. I mean, those are 2 solid games.
Just so they know who MIAA is.
Yeah.
Northwest Missouri, Pitt
State,
all those.
Emporia State, Washburn. I mean, it's a good football. And
I think kind of Big Ten of D2.
Right. Well, yeah, and another thing too is
smash.
It's there's not many, in that schedule. There's every program is solid. You know what I'm saying? There's not too many, lower end teams in that league, and so with the schedule that we got and the schedule that we've had, we better get going early, Jimmy. And I think, that'll help us in the back end of it.
Well, you're going on the road. Here's road games.
Yes, sir.
You're going to Grand Valley State,
right?
Week 2. I call it week 1.
Yes, sir.
After 0
it
week.
Is right.
You get a break, and then you got to go to Angelo.
Correct. We do have a bye week in between that, so we scheduled that to get before we get into conference. Get that going.
You got to go to Kingsville.
Yep.
You got to go to Portales.
Yep.
You got to go to Alpine. I'll take that one.
Uh-huh.
And then just the trip alone, and the shenanigans you've had to go through when you travel. When you got to go to Oregon.
Sure.
That's a rough road schedule.
Sure.
That is a rough road schedule.
Uh-huh.
Not only just the conference guys, but you're starting out going to the elite of the elite.
Right.
And you're going to find out real quick, where do we stand? And then you got the rest of the season. Do we want to get there, or do we want to lay down?
Sure, that's right.
And
another thing too, Jimmy, isn't that where we want to be? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
sure.
you go in there, you play Western Colorado first round, or 0 week, and then you go to Grand Valley. And ultimately, when we took this job, when we started this thing, 3 years ago, this is the type of team that, this is the type of program that we want to be. So I think it's a good challenge for us, and obviously we're ready for it. We're excited for it.
So tell our athletic director this.
Uh-huh.
Stacy's sitting off screen here. Her brother's the head honcho at Coffee Memorial Blood Center.
Uh-huh.
If we need to rejuvenate his blood before we go to Grand
All right, there ain't no doubt.
let's make sure which color.
Hey, can I say something? Hey, can I say
color he bleeds here? We can arrange for
pressure
that.
on the
I
old
think.
shoulders,
Hey,
knowing that
I'll say this too, in regards to our athletic director, and you talk about that road schedule. Okay, I tell you what he's done. Okay, last time I was on there, we talked about the travels of Division II football and how we got to go commercial. He's come in and for that Grand Valley trip, he's got us a charter flight. He's come in for the Western Oregon trip and got us a charter flight.
Wow,
especially after last year's.
Yeah, all that. You know what I'm saying? So that. When you talk about moving forward, and he always talks about championship excellence, our AD, and he's an amazing guy in regards to what, and he's been there. You know what I'm saying? So, we've done some things internally that's going to help our kids out and put us in a better position to be successful in those games.
He spent I don't know how many years at Grand Valley State.
Sure.
For those that don't know, our athletic director came from there,
uh-huh.
and so he's been around a premier program that has 20 some odd sports,
right?
And they do it all up there.
Yeah, they do. They do a little bit of everything, don't they? And they're good at everything.
They are.
From
started out as a baseball coach there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's a baseball player.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a new OC from Pitt State. Speaking of Pitt State, so Kevin, take us into that.
Yeah. So Kevin Blau and I, when I took the job at the University of Nebraska-Kearney, he was the receivers coach there, and so. One thing about it is the Blau family, his dad, I think was the head coach at Akron one time at some juncture. Okay. His brother's the coach for Coach Carthel down at Stephen F. Austin, Coach Kobe Carthel.
Yeah.
So Coach Blau and I were together for 2 years at the University of Nebraska-Kearney.
Oh, wow.
And then when Coach Kobe Carthel took the job at Stephen F. Austin, he left my staff and went to go join Coach Carthel. And a couple years later, Pitt State, who's a national powerhouse in Division II football, they he got the opportunity to go be the offensive coordinator there. And then obviously when our transition happened this year, he was my first call. And so one thing about Coach Blau is he can coach receivers, he can coach offensive line, he can coach, if he needed to, he could go out there and coach the holders for the kicker, okay? And not to mention anything, he's an incredible person. So I guess where I'm going with that, he's very educated. He's one of those guys that's actually got an engineering degree coming out of college, and now he's still coaching football. And he probably should go be an engineer. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't say that. He should be coaching football, but he's extremely intelligent. And I just thought from what we came and where we're going to go this year, I thought he'd be a good fit for that.
When you make that call, what's that like, Josh?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. First of all, you just kind of get you sit there and you ask questions. You kind of get a general feeling. One of those questions you ask, and you guys could probably back me up. But Jimmy, I know you can back me up. Is what's Mama think? What's Mom and how are the kids doing in school? And that's a big piece of that, right?
Yeah.
And so you go through that, and and I think too with what we're doing on offense this year is he's very solid in the run game. But he had the player of the year last year, the quarterback last year at Pitt State in the MIAA obviously with what we've done throwing the ball, but I think the biggest thing he's brought with us is his run game and how we've implemented that into what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And so Coach Blau, he's once again I've kind of hit on him, but I think he's a good piece in regards to I think he makes us a more complete offense, if that makes sense. Yep. So.
For sure does, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of offense, you're going to have a new quarterback. Everybody loves to talk quarterback. RJ had an incredible year last year for you.
Sure.
Know what I mean? And a good dude as well. But obviously that fifth-year thing didn't work out. But so is it an open competition? How do you like your quarterback?
Yeah,
how do you guys figure that out,
We've
Josh?
got one in system that we really like, and obviously we brought in some transfers with that piece. And they're in there right now to literally over the summertime, in the spring, and, we're competing in that world. I do believe it's a competition right now, and I think, it'll work itself out here in the next week.
Yeah.
So, but we feel really good about, we've got a room of 7 of them, and we really feel good about, 3 or 4 of them. So it's, and there's probably 2 in there that have kind of separated themselves from the other group. So we'll make a decision on that here in the next couple of weeks.
We got to ask you, obviously, Reed Macon's one of them, the young man from West Plains, started every high school game for him, obviously is over 10,000 yards passing. But as a guy who played, Josh, and you dealt with all these a long time, so I know you got a plan or a theory on it. When a freshman comes in, how do you kind of say, look, you just got to – just learn,
sure,
you know what I mean? If
hey,
how do you handle that?
Hey, first and foremost, I didn't realize, of course you're not around, you recruit Reed and you see Reed play and you see him. I'll say this about Reed. West Plains High School over there, they haven't had another quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They're starting a new quarterback, and it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I guess what I'm going with that is I've been around Reed here over the summertime and this fall camp, and he is a gem. You tell him one time, he sees everything, and he's going to be a great one for us. Okay, he's probably not there yet, all right, but the way he operates, the way he's a great athlete. He's not the biggest guy, but you can see the accomplishments of what he's done at West Plains High School and what's carried over to our program. I've been extremely impressed with him, and you don't know until you're in the ditch with him, right? And he is he's going to be a good addition for the Buffaloes here eventually. But we are really fired up about Reed Macon.
So do you have a conversation with those guys? Like, look, keep working hard. Look,
another thing too is the quarterback room's tough. If you got 20 offensive linemen, you can play 20 offensive linemen. The quarterback room, you can play one if you want to be any good. And I'm not a big fan of the whole dual quarterback situation. I don't think everybody's always looking behind their shoulder. You got to have one, and you got to let him be your leader and let him go. And but yes, we do have conversations. But that quarterback, and that's another thing about Coach Blau. He's really good with quarterbacks and being extremely vocal and communicating with those guys, every step of the way.
Yeah.
So you got to be communicating with those guys.
Yeah. Defensively, give us an insight.
Sure, yeah, man, I'm fired up about our defense. And, we were really young last year. And if you look at what we did last year, especially early, we weren't the best defense on the field. And I don't think it – I think a lot of that was youth.
Yeah.
I think, you got to look at our interior linebackers. And the great thing about our interior linebackers, man, they're two local kids, right? You got Javen Cash, who's a Canyon kid.
Yeah, Canyon.
And then we got Lucas Jarnigan out of Idalou, Texas, who might be the best athlete on the field.
Wow.
I was just fixing to ask you, who's the best athlete on the field?
For defensively, he's got to be in the conversation. I mean, Lucas was a 200-pounder in high school that could run, that could run. It wouldn't be West Texas without him.
I agree. We need
but he's a kid that can run, and he's another thing about Lucas. He's put in the work in the weight room this year. I mean, he's up to 220 pounds and can fly. And
it's a great program.
It is a program, but obviously to get the caliber of athlete that we did, especially out of Idalou, Texas, it's amazing. It's great.
That's cool.
Defensively too, we're bringing three of those. We're bringing three of our five in the back end. With Cam Manahan, Miles Hill, and. Bring Cam Manahan, Miles Hill, and Phineas Allen back in the back end. So we're excited. And those are three really good DBs, two of them being all-conference kids.
Yeah.
Those are two kids that stepped. Miles Hill had an opportunity to get in the portal, didn't do it. Cam Manahan had an opportunity to get in the portal, didn't do it. They're back. And so and then we've added some good transfers in that world. I think our corner room right now, we're sitting with 12 corners. And now that's including, 6 freshmen in there. But, that's a good little battle going on right now.
That's good.
Defensive front, we lost a pretty good edge defensive end pass rusher last year. However, we've got out of let's just say out of the 10 rotation guys last year, we've got 8 of those guys back. And so we're extremely excited about that, and we're a lot bigger than we ever have been. And so defensively, we're going to be much improved as long as those coaches don't screw them up. You know what I'm saying? I think they've done it. We've done a nice job of recruiting. Not only that, we've done a good job of retaining and also developing. And so that defense that's another thing too. We're bringing 6 out of 11 back on defense, and that's good for the transfer world. And losing an impact player, Jamel Costa-Lewis, the Caprock kid that went to Stephen F. Austin. I mean, it's I'm excited about the defense.
I'm juiced about football. I think we've got. Preseason starts this weekend, I believe. I think we're done with not having some kind of football.
Sure, with what you talk about NFL
going forward till from now to February. So I'm back in my seat again. But talk about our stadium and how that crowd being so close and that student group being over behind the visitors. That's got to play a factor.
It does. Jimmy, I tell people all the time, and if you look at my career, I'm a Division II guy. You know what I'm saying? I've been in 4 different conferences, and there's about 5 programs that have the atmosphere that we have in Division II. I think Grand Valley's in that group, Pitt State, Northwest Missouri.
Been there.
But then you look at our environment in regards to the way that they did an awesome job building that stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
To where those fans are sitting right on top, and then our student section right behind the visitors bench. I mean, there's not a better college atmosphere in the Division II world than Bain Schaefer rocking on Saturday night. Yeah. I mean, the day games are nice, but it sure is nice to get that stadium lit up and I don't know why you wouldn't want to go play there, especially on the Division II level. But they've done an incredible job. Hey, and it's not only that. It's not only the students, Jimmy. I mean, that tailgate section before that's pretty impressive too. Yeah. And then it's not just all young college kids out there. I mean, I walk through there and, there's more of the old buffs out there a lot of times than some of the students, which is incredible. I always see you out there, Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? It's
I honestly think this plays a part in it, and this may sound real cheesy, but
hey, it also the momentum piece too, right? That's part of it. So.
My mom used to say, and I love Kimbrough Stadium, so I'm going to put that on the record, and I had a hard time thinking about leaving there just because it's historical and it's the only place I knew. But on day 1 at halftime of the first ball game, I texted Michael McBroom, and I said, well done. My mom always said that Kimbrough was built for mountain goats. She hated getting in and out of there. You do see some folks that can get in and out of Bain Schaefer that probably couldn't get in and out of Kimbrough anymore. And I'm talking about people my age and up that still come to ball games. They sit down there in that general admission section right down there on the turf. I don't think they could have got there anymore.
Hey, Jimmy, another thing, too, it's comfortable, right?
Big time.
I mean, you're not sitting on bleachers. I mean, you're sitting in chair backs,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times if you pay for it. And it goes back to those people actually like coming out because it's comfortable.
It's Kennedy, my middle daughter went to Oklahoma State. It's the first time I've ever spent any time on a campus where the stadium was right there on campus. And when Dr. Windler called me in, the first time I ever met him, he asked me about what do you think about the stadium, because he was trying to make a decision. Do we renovate Kimbrough or do we build a new one on campus? And I told him, I said, I got to tell you, this is about 2016-ish. I said, I've spent a little time at Oklahoma State the last couple of years, and that on-campus environment is pretty special, and it endears itself to the kids. And my selling point was the very first home game we had, and you know where the tailgate stuff is. Hallie was living in Shirley Hall, Shirley Hall. And she walked out that front door, and all this sea of people was right there. She got to experience the same thing on WT's campus that Kennedy did at Oklahoma State. Very same environment, very same atmosphere. And I was sold right then, because all she had to do was walk right out the front door of her dorm, and there was this sea of people.
Right.
And then turn around and walk, hop, skip, and a jump over to the stadium. Never get in a car, no traffic.
Yeah.
And I was sold immediately. And I told Michael at halftime, great job. It's special, and it's hard to believe this is year 7, I think.
It is, right?
I think it's year 7 in the facility.
It's gorgeous. You feel, I mean, there's a vibe to it when you're in there. You know what I mean? It's so nice. I got to ask you though. All right, Josh Lynn wakes up game day. Are we a superstitious guy, like same food? If I won the week before, do you have a routine that is just a must for Josh Lynn, or do you just kind of let it flow?
All right, so I'm more of I'm kind of superstitious a little bit. Like if I ate Whataburger on Monday the week before, I'm eating Whataburger again that week on Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
And then on game days, guys, I try, I get around my players and make sure we're locked in and do everything that we're supposed to do to make sure those guys are ready to play a football game. And then when they go get ready, I go and I shut my door. And you know what I like to do during game day or before game day is I subscribe to all the different, like I subscribe to the Rocky Mountain Network on Huddle. I subscribe to the MIAA on Huddle, all the Division II stuff. And a lot of those times, those games are early.
Yeah.
They play those early games.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I sit in there in the office, and I'll sit there and watch Division II games.
Wow.
It's your own sports center at the D.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's great in our new offices. My computer can hook, up to a TV there in my office. And so that's what I do. I find I'll sit there and watch, Colorado State Pueblo play Colorado School of the Mines, and then I'll switch it over to Pitt State, play Northwest.
Wow.
And, I enjoy doing that.
Kind of
and that's
set you in mode.
Yeah, and it just, just kind of the different places I've been. Where I've been to those places, and that's what I really enjoy. Now I will, obviously if those games aren't on, I'll get on and watch the occasional game day and college game day and college football. But I try to get my office and, just another thing. I'm wound a little tight that day, and I don't want to crash out on anybody. Does that make sense? And
I can't imagine
it's
being on edge in y'all's world.
It's hey, I may have told you guys.
Day.
I think I may have told you guys the last time my wife calls it. My wife calls it a drug. You know what I'm saying? She goes, when you get that competitive drive, it's kind of like people that are on meth.
Yeah.
You've got to have it, but then when you don't have it, you want it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, I think that's true. I mean, you sit there and you get those butterflies, and you get ready to go, and obviously it kind of stinks, but then again you kind of crave it a little bit. So if that makes sense, I
love that insight.
That's what my wife calls. Yeah, it's just. That's why Art Browse I guarantee that's why Art Browse is back in it. I mean, he missed that competitive, him putting together a football team, putting his stamp on it, and then going out there and seeing how it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee that's a big piece of why he came back.
Sure. I love that.
Yeah.
And one piece of your life now, you have, your son's actually a high school player.
Uh-huh.
How has seen him go through all the ranks?
Yeah.
Has that changed you as a coach at all?
Here's what I think. I never want to coach my kids. I don't, man. So he's going to be a sophomore over there at Randall High School with Coach Sherwood, and I think we might get a little varsity action this year. And me and my wife talked about it, and obviously we're going to do whatever we can to help that program, support it or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But during game days, we've talked about it. We're going to get up there in Kimbrough or Happy State Bank, and Jimmy, we're going to get up as high as we possibly can, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna watch football. You know what I'm saying? So it's
very cool.
Hey, here's a
I'm
cool.
gonna tell you, we used to do the same thing. Kim and I, when our kids played volleyball, we set up at the top, away from all the stuff down below. I just wanted to watch my kids.
I want to watch
and all the others play.
And obviously I want to be supportive. I mean, I want to be a dad who's,
sure.
But in my position and stuff, I want to be as supportive as I possibly can to the Randall football because my son's a part of it. But at the same token, I still want to sit back and just watch football, and
That's
so.
Cool.
But I'm excited about that.
I love that.
Here's a cool story for you guys. So Thursday night, August 27th, plug this a little bit. All right, we got the Buffaloes versus Western Colorado. Okay, Thursday night game. Well, come Friday night. Okay, my brother is the head coach at Roswell High School in Roswell, New Mexico. My dad is the offensive line coach for the Roswell High Coyotes. All right, so the Randall Raiders. My son is going to get to square off at Kimbrough versus the Roswell High on Friday night on August 28th. So we got to.
So your brother.
So they play. So we play on Thursday night,
and
then my son plays grandpa and brother and uncle
story
on Friday night. Isn't that cool? So we got a bunch of family coming in, and so it's going to be a good family weekend for the. With college football and high school football.
That's a pretty good haul for a high school team from Roswell. We go to Ruidosa every year, and you're always glad when you get to Roswell because you're almost there and you're not quite home. When you get back to Roswell, still got to make the trek to at least get back to Portales.
That Portales to Roswell, there's not much out there. You got, was it Elida? You got the Allsup's at Elida out there.
Yeah,
so.
You just go, though. Yeah. Hey, how is that dynamic, son having dad as an assistant?
What's that?
How is the dynamic with your brother having your dad?
Oh man, I love that story. I mean, that's
first of all. Get order him
so
around?
my dad's been a long time high school football coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't have any hobbies. Okay, he'll get up in the morning, work out. He dips Copenhagen, and then he coaches football. That's what he does. He's not a golfer. He'll fish a little bit in the summertime, but it's nothing crazy. But he's a football coach, right? Here's a great thing about it. My dad will go in the morning and he'll do laundry for the entire Roswell High football from freshmen to seniors, and he'll do the laundry every day for those guys.
Wow.
And then, and isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So he told me one time, it's kind of funny. He goes, Josh, I started I can't remember, 50-plus years. I started my career 50-plus years ago doing laundry for high school football players. He goes, I'm probably going to end my career doing the laundry for high school football players. Yeah. But so the dynamic, it's kind of fun. I mean, they clash a little bit, but it's – I think it's kind of funny to hear those stories of him and my dad kind of going head to head a little bit on different topics of a football team.
I love that. So yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah,
you got anything else?
Oh my gosh, I could talk WT all
day
long. I wish you the best.
Thank you, guys.
I get to see you at church and other places around, and we need a good season. And last year. We talked about this with Coach Mims. Last year was last year, but still, you talk about the momentum.
Yeah, I thought you brought juice back to the stadium, man.
Well, it's time. Hey, another thing too, isn't it time? Isn't it time for West Texas A&M football to really put our football team on display and get Bane Schaefer rocking? You know what I'm saying? It's time for that.
Yeah.
And the only way we do that is we generate excitement, and that's having a great football product on the field. And we're going. Obviously you can't predict the future, but I feel right now as good as I ever have been with West Texas A&M football. We got good kids, we got good people in our program, we got good athletes, and I'm just excited to get this thing going. More so than anything, man. So
let me give you a comment. The progression is there. You know what I mean? It's not easy to wait on that sometimes, the rebuild.
Sure.
Everybody wants it faster. And but
Guys,
this is solid, which
well,
you've got it going, man.
You know, and I get frustrated with that with some people sometimes in regards to, if you look at good college football teams, it takes a little bit of time. I mean, you look at what we did at Eastern New Mexico. You look at what we did at UNK. I mean, we're on track here at West Texas A&M football. Now this season, we need to have a good season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's time to take another step. And I think we're going to do that this year. So I obviously can't predict the future, but I'm excited about where we're at.
Like Josh said, it'll be Thursday night, August 27th, Bain Schaefer, Western Colorado. My day, Josh, and this is no disrespect to anybody in Western Colorado.
Yep.
Gunnison, Colorado?
Yeah.
Western, we called it Wasted State. I'm a high school kid in Colorado in the 70s.
Let's go, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Crested Buttes right there. So
yeah.
I had 5 buddies go there and 5 buddies flunk out.
Yeah.
All they did was ski. So, but Western Colorado will be there on Thursday night. So,
and you talk about a program who's really done a nice job. Of getting,
yeah.
I mean, they've added resources. That coach has done an incredible job of getting them to where they need to be.
Playing at elevations.
I mean, shoot, they're going to roll in here probably number 9th in the nation, guys. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've done an incredible job there at Wasted State. You know what I'm saying? So it's they've done a great job. So.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's funny.
Yeah. Josh, as always, we know. I mean, you're in it, so you're got to get out to practice and all that. But we can't thank you enough. You always make the Fieldhouse Podcast better.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Now, this is awesome what you guys do.
You did notice I wore my Marine.
I did. I saw that. We got Angelo State colors over here, so it's just.
I like blue. I got blue.
There you go. So
actually, I'd probably wear. I like Scott Parr.
Yeah.
So if I was going to
you got some Kingsville then. There you go.
I guess we could go Kingsville.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else?
No, thanks.
All right. Hey, thanks, Josh.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, let's hop out of here. You know what I like to always say when we see you? We'll see you. This has been the Fieldhouse Podcast, a production of the Kids Inc. Sports.